Hello everyone, this is going to be another Starcraft 2 replay on Metalopolis. I'm spawning in the 3 o'clock as Terran, and my opponent Zerg is in the 6 o'clock position. Panzer 4D. I'm guessing that's like a World War II tank. I think I've heard of a Panzer 4. Don't know what the D is all about. So sending out his Overlord to scout this direction. Kind of an interesting line where it looks like he's going to hide behind the gas. Kind of smart, because the way I scout for Overlords, I wouldn't notice it. But I will catch him coming from this direction. See, this is how I usually scout to catch an Overlord. Just do a little move like that to see if the Overlord's coming in. So my scout I wasn't really paying attention to, and I forgot to send him all the way in. So I gotta get in there and see where this pool is at. And the pool is a late pool, so I have no threats of an early Ling rush. Looks like you went Extractor first for Speedlings, and that is the standard build versus Terran, because typically you're going to be facing Reaper Harass to start, maybe Hellion Harass, and you want the Speedlings to counter that, but that is not what I'm up to. It's a pretty smart Zerg player, actually. You can see him pooling up resources. Yeah, I guess he's sending out some Zerglings to harass, but he's more or less going to be going for to respond within the faster expansion of his own, which is a good response. So he's just going to whack on my wall a little bit here. I should pop a Marine soon. There we go. Fortress is done, so as soon as I clear off this ramp, I'll be transferring out my SCVs. I like to keep my SCVs back in my main base now until I got the fortress complete, because I just find too often I have to flee. If I send like 6 SCVs out here, I'm going to just start fleeing them away from Zerglings, and they become useless. So I just keep them in my main base. My main base isn't that saturated anyway, so it's not like it's that much less effective. Okay, my orbital, throwing down a supply depot and getting range upgrade for my fortress. That way I will be able to blow away Bailings if he does try for a fast Bailing bust. And another good response by Zerg. This is the response I've always said would work well versus me, and that is using Zerg's economic advantage, because he can buff up his economy faster than I can buff up mine. So if he sees that I'm turtling in and expanding, why not throw down a third expansion? Or even rather than going to your natural, just take the two high yields and like immediately and try to get a fast economic edge before I get into the game. It's not bad, although I am keeping even because of the harvester count. He hasn't gotten his count up that high yet. And even the spine crawler, I don't think this is necessary, at least not for a little while. I mean, I don't really have much of a force. Let's see what I got a view on. Yeah, I did see the Bailing's Nest, so I am a little worried about Bailing Bust, although it's getting a little late for that now, and I got a nice wall up to defend it. At the same time, checking up to medevacs here. Throwing out some air turrets because I have spotted this Spire, but I did not catch any tech buildings yet, so we're not quite sure what I'm up against. So I'm building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 air turrets, all of which are completely useless because he never gets the Spire. So definite disadvantage when you can't scout his tech. But as a low APM player and as someone who dies to cheese sometimes when I should more or less have the game wrapped up, I like to overprotect myself on those things because I still assume my economy will be more enough to take over. And we got a 4th expansion now going up for Zerg, and 68 harvesters out in the field. Like, this is definitely the way to go. Look at the economic edge he has over my fast expand build. I think my FE build usually should at least keep me at par with Zerg, but by doing this sort of response, I think this is what puts Zerg way, way, way ahead. So I do take Zelnaga, and all of a sudden I see the bad news. I'm like, oh shoot, he's got this one fully saturated. He's got this one about to begin. At the same time, just sending a scout out to the other 3 bases. I got this Marine scouting the top 3, and I have this factory scouting the bottom 2, or the left 2. Now, since I haven't been expanding myself, I figure I should have an army advantage here. We go to the army tab. Oh, I actually don't, but I figured this is my opportunity. You know, he's spending on expansions where I'm kind of at my peak. I just got my medevacs out. I got 1-0 upgrades. Could time this better actually. I got 2-1 coming pretty soon. This is something I have to involve in my game. You know, people say like timing pushes. A lot of that's around right when your upgrade's finished. So if I wait another 3 minutes, I can go in with 2-1 upgrades instead of 1-0. But basically, I'm like, okay, he has the economic edge. I should have the army edge because I haven't been building up all these drones and all these hatcheries. So I need to either match him in expansions right now. By the way, 5th expansion going down. Or I need to start dishing out damage to turn this around. Unfortunately, I got the most likely place of attack, which isn't smart. And he has fungal growth my units, so trying to pull my Marines out of range won't really work. It looks like his Bailings didn't really get in there, which is fine by me. But it looks like at this point it's a lot of Marauders versus Hydralists, and Marauders do not perform well versus Hydralists. Bailing's getting in there, just nuked my remaining Marines. The Marines is what I need to beat the Hydras. And I load up a medevac. I stupidly loaded up the front one. It's like, yeah, please shoot me down. I'm sure A-Move just shot that down. If you're going to load your guys into a medevac, put them in the back medevac at least. So now he has all the economic edge in the world. And my army edge that I thought I had was just completely negated. And I'm actually behind my army count. And this is... Oh. Again, with Manx. Come on. Well, that could be the reason why I have to come back here. So I am loading up a medevac. I decided, well, maybe I'll just like try to nuke out this expansion quickly. But he is attacking my front line, so I got to come back and unload very quickly, I think. Yeah, here they come. So he is getting a bit of false hope on attacking this fortress. I kind of let it go down to the orange before I started repairing it heavily. And yeah, that was a major win, so maybe I'm not out of this game after all. I think if he just didn't throw away his units there, if he sat back and just defended and kept up with the Bailings and fungal growth, I would have been in rough shape. So I'm doubled in economy still. But if we go to the army tab, behind by 20, army's tab's pretty even. But I am going to catch him out of position here. I'm going to drop into Spine Collars, and then I have a few Zerglings here to help out. Okay, so 1 base down, not bad. And of course, there's one thing in a factor I haven't talked about that has kept me in this game, and it's a major, major factor. It's actually going to be the determining factor of this game. It's my upgrades. I'm at 2-1 right now. His melee's at 0-0, his Hydras are at 1-0, and this sort of massive upgrade advantage is going to be... I'm going to keep it the entire game, basically. So 2-pronged attack, I'm running in from the left, at the same time I'm charging in from the right. I'm actually going to back up a touch. There is one little trick I use here, and like... Oh. I think I broke the replay. And if you're a pro player, this would seem like absolute stupidity. But if you're a player like me who has crappy APM, it actually makes a lot of sense. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stim up my units here and then A-move them into his base. And you may say, what the heck is the point of that? I have no rush to get there fast, and by the time my units arrive, the stim will have been worn off. And honestly, the only reason I do this is it makes the micro easier. Because if I just grab this clump here and I say A-move right here, my Marines and Marauders are going to slowly walk around this way and eventually come into his base. Meanwhile, my Medevacs are just going to fly off on their own on a straight line and come in here by themselves without any forces with them. So a couple options you can have is you can tell them to follow one of these units, and then they'll actually auto-repair, and that's something I should get used to doing. But my trick is see if I stim them first and then say A-move, then all my Medevacs aren't going to run off on their own, they're actually going to chase after and try to repair these guys. So that may seem completely stupid to a lot of you, but you know what, for me it makes my micro easier, and anything I can do to make my micro easier, since my APM is a solid, 43, that's actually pretty high this game. I'm quite happy with anything to make my micro easier, since I cannot click fast. So it looks like he has switched to Ultralisk. I'm not sure if that's smart. I think Failings and Fungal Growth is a smarter idea. A few mutas on the field, actually. However, Ultras and Hydralisk is a good mix, because Hydralisk beats Marauders pretty handily. And if I'm going to get a significant amount of Marauders to counter the Ultralisks, that means I'm not going to have the high enough Marine count to deal with the Hydralisks. And I think that would also be smart since if he continues doing attack upgrades on the Hydras and then get the armor upgrades on the Ultras. So let the Ultras tank, let the Hydras deal out the damage. This is just my stupid Viking scout I always do. And you can see he got a solid 4 Overlord kills before dying off. So